Jai Jagannath. Radhe Radhe. We are reading today chapter 17. Last time we completed chapter 16. So chapter 16 was about the difference between Deva and Asura regarding qualities. Because usually, all the classifications, categories in Vedic culture are based on the guna and karma. They're not based on DNA or, ancestry or nationality or race or whatever. They're based on guna and karma. Guna means the inclinations, the mode in which we work, and karma means action, what we actually do. So interest and training and actually performing the activities. So Deva and Asuras can be recognized not because of DNA, but because of their qualities and activities. The same thing applies. Krishna is going on, continuing on the same thread, with the three types of faith. Shraddha means religion, religious faith, which has nothing to do with DNA or ancestry or nationality or race or caste or whatever. It's based on the guna and karma of people. So because it's three, we already can guess it's about the three gunas. So we go to verse 1, and if you have time, you can read the little, the brief introduction to the chapter. As usual, stop me for any question, doubt, objection, or whatever. So, verse 1. Arjuna said, Krishna, those who neglect the knowledge of the Shastra, but sincerely engage in rituals, taking shelter in them because of their faith, are they to be considered in sattva, rajas, or tamas? This is a very appropriate question because practically today nobody is really studying the Shastras in a proper manner. So it's all about opinions, one's own opinions or opinions of someone else. It's about tradition, means my father was doing that, my grandfather was doing that. I've been told on the market that this is better than the other thing. So no Shastra, but Laukika Shraddha. Laukika Shraddha means the faith of the popular belief, which in other words is superstition. So, and we see, for example, we had in previous chapter 16, 23, 24, Krishna has already said that. Okay, let me get nearer to the screen. Yashastra vidhim utsrija vartate kamakarata na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim tasma shastram pramanam te karya vyavasthitam gyatva shastravidhanoktam karma kartum yaharhasi. Meaning, one who discards the knowledge of the scriptures and takes up actions based on whimsical desire will not attain perfection, happiness, or the supreme destination. Therefore, you should perform your activities in this world according to the directions offered by the Shastra about determining one's duty. Okay, so already it's very clear. But let's see what Krishna says. Again, the wonderful Lord said, embodied beings can develop faith of three types, according to their nature, either in sattva, rajas, and tamas, or tamas. Listen, as I will explain to you. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Trividha Bhavati Shraddha Rehinam Sa Svabhavaja Sattviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shrinu. The most interesting part here is Svabhavaja. Bhava means nature, but it's not a ontological nature. It's a functional nature. Bhava means what has become, what it has manifested. And the manifestation comes from the mentality, the mental approach. So that's why I commented here, quoting this famous proverb, which is, sow a thought, reap an act. Sow an act, reap a habit. Sow a habit, reap a character. Sow a character, reap a destiny. It means that our nature is not fixed. It continuously changes depending on our choices. We make an effort to change our bhava. Yes, we can change our nature. This is so important because people don't usually understand that. They think that nature means you were born like this, someone is born as a dog, someone else is born as a cow, someone else is born as a butterfly. A dog will always be a dog. A cow will always be a cow, and a butterfly will always be a butterfly. Now, the problem is that a human being is born as a human being. He cannot become, in this life, he cannot become a cow or a butterfly. But he can change his bhava, his sentiment, his attitude, his approach, his mentality, and therefore his nature. How? By making different choices. So I hope it is very, very clear, because this is such an important point.
Yes.
Clear. Okay, good. So we can continue. Verse 3. O descendant of Bharata, everyone develops faith according to their particular way of life. Each Purusha is categorized according to such type of faith. Sattanrupa sarvasya shraddha bhavati bharata shraddha mayoyam purusho yo yat shraddha yat shraddha sa eva saha. So one can develop a different type of faith depending on the particular type of guna or mixture of gunas that he associates with. We can develop through experience, impressions, training, education, habits, as we said before. Impressions here is very interesting because the word samskara literally means impressions. So the samskaras are supposed to be performed so that it gives a proper, higher bhava to the Purusha, to the individual. Okay? So, according to the particular way of life, it's not the other way around. Well, it's a vicious circle that can become a virtuous circle. The faith is shaped by the way of life, and the way of life is shaped by the faith. So they can reinforce each other, but it has nothing to do with birth, with DNA. Okay, 17:4, verse 4. Those who are sattvic worship the personalities of God, plural. Those who are in rajas worship the rakshasas and the yakshas. And those who are in tamas offer sacrifices to ghosts and other types of lower beings. Who are the personalities of God? They are the devas. Yajante sattvika devan yaksha raksham sirajasaha pretan bhuta ganam chamnye yajante tamasajanaha. So it's totally normal that human beings worship rakshasas and yakshas and ghosts and all these other beings by calling them God. And stupid people think that all religions are the same. So, because stupid people think and say that all religions are the same, they are saying that worshipping the devas is same like worshipping the asuras. Worshipping the asuras, rakshasas, yakshas, pretas, bhutas, whatever, is the same like worshipping God, because they call them God. So this is the main problem we are dealing with today, because there are some religions, considered religions or faith, Shraddha, by which some people deliberately cultivate rajas and tamas, by worshipping asuras and ghosts and, other beings in rajas and tamas. So the human culture is becoming more and more immersed in rajas and tamas. So it's a vicious circle. But the result of these different types of worship is not the same. They're not equal. When we say sarva dharman, samam bhava, all the dharmas have the same bhava. Yeah, that's because we don't know what dharma means. There is no such thing as a criminal dharma. There is no such thing as adharmic dharma. Dharma doesn't mean religion. If a religion is opposing dharma, you cannot call it dharma. You have to call it adharma. And we will see, Krishna is going to say it very clearly in the next verses. So, 5. Those people who do not follow the directions of the Shastra submit themselves to terrible practices out of egotism and false religiousness, and engage in such activities under the sway of lust and attachment. Like people who mutilate themselves or others, or people who have enforce a physical punishment for for apostasy or so-called blasphemy or heresy or all these things. They are punished by adharmic people with torture, death, mutilation, all sorts of physical damage, physical and mental damage. And so this, because they don't know the Shastra. They do not follow the direction of the actual Shastra, not the Yavana Shastra. Yavana Shastra, throw it away. The terrible practices, Ghoram, tapyante. Ashastra vihitam ghoram tapyante. Have you seen some fake Naga Babas going around and trying to, lifting bricks or pulling cars with their private parts?
Yes.
Or standing.
I've seen on TV.
Yeah, standing for 20 years with one arm up until the arm is becomes so totally useless. Okay, Krishna is talking about these people. There is not one
Mhm.
line in any Shastra that says that we should do stuff like that.
Mhm.
But they're terrible practices. And why they do it? To get on TV, to get fame, adoration, profit. That is called egotism. And it's dambha, arrogance, pride, ahankara. Oh, I am doing this thing. Oh, I'm so austere. I'm such a big sadhu. I'm such a big tapasvi. Okay, these people are not exactly following the Shastra. But, Krishna says, verse 6, you should know that they are certainly asuras, because they foolishly cause suffering and damage to all beings, and to me as well, since I reside within the body. So anyone who is torturing or oneself or others, killing, mutilating, submitting to cruel and horrible practices, uh, they're asuras. You heard about the festival of Ashura? Muslim
No,
festival?
no, no, no. I haven't heard any
That is
festival
a
for Asura.
particular set of Muslims that then on that day they mourn some family member of the Prophet. So to show their mourning, they cut themselves up, they flog themselves with blades, and it's a festival of blood. Parents are doing that to their children, including, very, very, very young toddlers, babies. How you call the festival is aptly called Ashura. Okay, let's go on. And we are talking about food here. Hey, look at that. Interesting. Verse 7, food is a part of religion. It's a very important part of faith and religion. Verse 7 said, food is also categorized into 3 types, as are all the things desired by people: the ritual sacrifices, austerities, and charity. Listen as I explain their different categories. Aharasvapi sarvasya trividho bhavati priya yajnastapastathadanam tesham bhedam imam shrinu. Okay, here is, of course, in the in the commentary I've written a lot of stuff. Okay, so 8. The food preferred by people who love sattva are juicy or sweet. There is rasya. Rasya means tasty, juicy, sweet. Fatty. Oh, fatty. Substantial and satisfying. And they increase pleasure, happiness, good health, strength, goodness, and duration of life. They nutritionists today have come up with the idea that fat is very good for you, especially especially butter, because it's vitamin D and all this stuff. And sweet and juicy. When you eat dry, stale stuff, is not the same. Sweet and juicy, like fruits, for example. So milk. So many preparations made with fresh milk. Soups as well. Good soups, sattvic soups. Okay. Go on. And verse 9. The food desired by those who belong to Rajas cause discomfort, mental anxiety and pain, and are spicy, dry, pungent, very hot, salty, sour, and bitter. Gita and the Vedic system don't make lists of ingredients and foods. They explain what are the quality of foods. When we say pungent and hot, this is the description that many people have in their mind about Indian food. Like tons of onions and garlic, and tons of chili, tons of mustard seeds, tons of spicy stuff. This food is according to Rajas. Rajas is not bad in itself because it pushes us to work. When we are working, when we are in Rajas, naturally we feel attracted to dry snacks like potato chips or masala, this mixture, masala mixture, or lots of dry, salty snacks. And these are supporting the action. They are supporting the Rajas. The problem is that when we eat too much of these foods, we get discomfort, mental anxiety, and pain. If we eat too much of sattvic food, as described above, we get, too slow, we get fat and slow, and we also have problems of digestion, because when food is too rich and too much, it's a problem. So we should eat sattvic food in very small quantity. Because sattva, we remember, is controlled by intelligence. Wisdom, intelligence. So we know when it's a time to stop. If we don't know and we don't stop, then sattva is going to slide into tamas. So we'll become sleepy. We'll become apathetic, and that is tamas. And then when we get into tamas, then we see what happens in tamas. So let's continue about tamas. The food loved by people in tamas are unclean, such as leftovers, or stuff that is stale, dried, rotten, and smelly. When we become lazy, or we get in tamas, we cannot distinguish what is good and what is not good, because tamas is represented mainly by ignorance. So we don't know what is good for us. Maybe it was good yesterday, but then we went to sleep, we forgot about putting the stuff in the fridge, and now it's rotten. Leftovers, stuff that is not not fresh anymore, and it lost a lot of nutritional properties, and it might have developed bacteria as well. So that is the tamas. So
One question in this
yes,
three verses. So Krishna is mentioning that those in sattva desire this, those in rajas desire that food. So food itself, he's not directly speaking that okay, these type of foods are in rajas or these
yes,
type of foods are in tamas. It is the tendency of those in sattva they like this, those in rajas
yeah,
like this, right? So if let's say like the food which is in rajas, if that is taken by like by forcefully or some other means, like they don't like because they are in
yeah. There
sattva,
is nothing else
but
to
they are
eat.
fed. If
Yeah,
they feed on that, would their sattva would they'll move to rajas, or
yeah.
how
Then
it would
we get
happen?
more influence of rajas.
But
That's
Krishna didn't directly mention that food
yeah.
inherently has rajas or tamas, right?
Oh, everything in this world is subject to the influence of the gunas. So is the
Mm.
food. So is the charity, as Krishna just mentioned before, austerity and everything. And so are the hours of the day. So are the habits, the ways of life, the place we choose to live in. We choose or we have to. I mean, we the choice is, of course, not completely free all the time. But by associating with the gunas, with a particular guna through our life habits, place of work, place of life, uh, you know, sleeping habits, mental habits, all these things can contribute. So if we, for example, like you very, very rightly said, like we are working on a workplace, the only thing we can get is kachori, or, samosa, stuff like that, which is, hot and spicy and maybe with a lot of onions inside and, a lot of chili and fried, and maybe they were made this morning, and you're buying them for lunch. Or you're buying them packed, like from some big company that makes snacks and everything. So they're very convenient in the sense that you don't have to cook. You don't have to get anyone to cook for you. But that is rajas. Your life habit is to run to make money, money, money. Now, of course, if society is pushing you to do that, because if you don't run, make money, 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 they're going to suspicious. They put you in jail or something. You have to live on the street. But we can adjust with the other um, factors in our life. Like, for example, we can have a good breakfast with some fresh fruit juice before going out to work. We can take some homemade sweets. We can pack our lunch meal, like good salad with maybe with a thermic container that keeps the food fresh even when the weather is hot. Or maybe you can manage to get some fridge in the office. If you work in an office, you can discuss with other people in the office, with the management. A small fridge doesn't need to be wow, like a professional restaurant fridge. A small fridge, you can just keep your lunch box, and then you can eat something that is more sattvic. Like, for example, roti and cottage cheese and, salads and, uh, maybe uh, some light subgies, something like that. Uh, if it's done in the house, if a homemade, maybe it can be done in the morning, as many people do. For example, there is this uh, very nice old system in Mumbai. It's very famous. There the tiffin carriers. There is a big organization of tiffin carriers that the husband goes to work, and then the wife at home is cooking the lunch, and puts the lunch in a tiffin, and then these tiffin carriers pass from house to house and collect the tiffins with the name and address and everything, and then in half an hour, 1 hour, they go and distribute the meals to all the people who work in office, you know. So that it doesn't have to be the husband who goes to work. Maybe it's a girl who, a lady who's going to work. Maybe someone else in the house is cooking for her, or whatever. The idea is that the food made in such a way is fresh and can be sattvic. Now, I know there is this idea that onion and garlic are non-vegetarian. This is confusing because onion and garlic are vegetarian. They're vegetables, okay? But they're not sattvic. They're rajasic. So, rajasic and tamasic, it means they're not sattvic. So that's why usually the yogi diet, the sadhu diet, doesn't include the onion and garlic because it's not sattvic. Sattvic diet is, like I said, freshly cooked rice, freshly cooked rotis, maybe some dal, or a khichdi, that goes dal and rice together, some light sabji, some salad, and maybe some dahi or cottage cheese or paneer. That is sattvic. It's not so difficult. The problem is that we need to, to get organized. We need to make choices, even if the choices require a little bit of effort. And then there is the emergency choices that you cannot, get organized in a particular way. Okay, let's see what's the next best, and the next, and the next, and the next, and until we find a level that can be sustainable, that is possible. It's a compromise. It's a compromise. It depends on so many things. Depends on availability of ingredients. It depends on how costly these ingredients are. Depends on so many things. Does this answer your question?
Yes, yes. But one more thing on this,
Yeah.
like I was having discussion with my friend on this. See, like personally, if you're not much evolved, you may not feel the difference between a sattvic and a rajasic diet. Okay, like you can eat maybe like for temporarily you may feel okay, you are having gases or something like that. Like your body is generating heat,
Yeah.
but not in long run. Maybe in couple of hours, maybe a sattvic diet or a rajasic diet may feel you same. So compared to like how you are changing your modes based on your diet, and then comparing it with the billboard or some kind of not like some loose talks with office colleagues and all, would that impact your gunas more than the diet?
Well, everything is impacting your gunas. But what Krishna said, starting the chapter, is that
Mhm.
we should learn from the Shastra. We should follow the instructions of the Shastra. Even if we are not very expert in telling the difference, it's because we don't know the Shastra. And we don't
Mhm.
apply the Shastra because it's not difficult to see the difference between the food that gives you some result and food that gives you other results. Of course, if you are already sick, okay, that's another problem.
Mhm.
But also, of course, as you said, other factors also have a strong effect on your gunas, because even eating food, there are several recommendations by the Ayurveda and the yoga shastras, that one should eat in a sattvic place, in a sattvic atmosphere, focusing on the food, not like watching TV, or engaging in some political discussion with other people, because that will disturb the digestion. And the digestion, even if you eat sattvic food in a bad environment, still the benefits will not be exactly the same. So there will be
Mhm.
many different factors, many factors about how we eat our food, what we eat, when we eat. Like, for example, let's take very sattvic food. Okay, the sattvic food that we mentioned, like khichdi and and fresh roti, and fresh sabji salad, curd, whatever. If you eat it at 1 in the morning, it's not good. The best time to eat the main meal is before midday, on midday, noon. In the early morning when you get up, just extremely sattvic food, because the body is fresh. It needs fresh things. And you are supporting the sattva with, if it's hot, maybe some lassi, some fruit juice, especially fresh fruit. Then at noon, the Raja's time is starting of the day. So you can have your main meal around noon, and it can also have a little bit of spice. Why not? Little bit. Not excessive spice. Because spices also have, therapeutic value. They can also be medicines, you know. So we can have a little bit of Rajasic food together with the Sattvic food. And we adjust. If we feel, too active, then we should cut down on the Rajas food. If we feel like, restless, that's an excess of Rajas. The Ayurveda is very clear about this. Ayurveda is explaining the three dosa, which are the three dosha. I never remember what kind of acid it is. So that is kapha, vita, and vayu. No. Kapha is supposed to be sattvic, but it can slide into tamas. Vata is air, so it's rajasic. And pitta is bile that can, be a mixture of rajas and tamas. So depending on our present body composition, we have to stimulate and balance the doshas, instead of imbalancing and aggravating them. And that's not just the type of food, the ingredients, but it's also the cooking type. It's also the time of the day when we eat, the environment in which we eat. So the Ayurveda is explaining all these things. Have you noticed that? The real Ayurveda. Not the Ayurveda that they give you pills for the liver and, like, live 52 and go home. Because that's Ayurveda mimicking allopathic medicine. It's stupid. They don't, liver what? Anybody can have liver problems, whether kapha, pitta, vayu, or whatever. So, real Ayurveda is carefully studying all these aspects. Even your sleeping habits, your approach to problems, approach to life, your mentality, mental habits, they're all, analyzed and they have to be corrected if they are out of balance. So application of different temperature, application of heat or cold, application of particular medicinal oils, particular the massage. There are so many things. Like in the original Ayurveda, there was a lot of knowledge about the nadi, the prana, nadi, marmas, and so on, that has become forgotten, but it moved from India to China and Japan, and it came back from China as acupressure, acupuncture, that originally it was from Ayurveda. Because the nadis and marmas are what? They're the meridians. So, Vedic knowledge already had this very subtle and vast knowledge about how the human body works. Unfortunately, we forgot about that. So any idiot that comes with you, to you with with an injection, he is God. Oh, they gave me an injection. Now I'll be okay. What they injected you with, you have no idea. I've seen, simple-minded people, they go to the doctor, the health camp, and they get the injection. Oh, I got the injection. Yeah. What injection was that? No idea. But they're happy because injection is, the modern scientific thing. You see where I'm going with that.
Mm.
So, yeah, the food is important. And also other stuff. Now, I think that we can go with the religious activities under the various, the three main gunas, maybe next time.
Okay. Mm.
So we stop here.